These are the forces outside of the business that affect the inside operation.
So these are the forces outside the business that affect inside operations. So they affect the business as a whole.
Yes.
Okay, anyone else?
Madam, I didn't answer. My book was lost. I just found it yesterday, so I didn't complete it.
I wasn't asking though.
You were looking at me.
Yeah. Okay, so the macro environment, these are set of external forces. They're a set of external forces that the company cannot control, but they can influence its development. They're a set of external factors. External factors that the company cannot control, but they influence the business and its development.
But cannot control, but
They can influence the business and its development. So what we mean by that definition is that these forces have an impact. They have an impact on the daily activities of the business. So the business cannot control these forces. They are there. It's not up to the business to change them. So they can either affect the business positively or negatively. So these forces are the ones I've listed there. Those are the macro environment forces that affect the business. So the first is the demographic, then there is the economic, there is the natural, technological, political and social, and cultural factors.
let me borrow your chair.
So we are first going to look at the demographic environment. Has anyone ever heard of demographics? Anyone? You have demographics.
Okay.
You have?
Sure.
Mpenya, do you have any clue of what it would mean?
I just feel about it. Something concerning.
Concerning what? Okay, so, yeah?
Concerning the people on
Okay, yes, it concerns the people, but in different forms. It looks at the gender of the people. It looks at the age, the population, the location, and other factors. So the demographic environment looks at the study of human populations. It looks at the study of human populations in terms of size. It looks at the study of human populations in terms of size, density, location, age, gender, race, and several other factors that define human beings. Yes, size, density, location. So when we are talking about the demographics or the demographic environment, marketers tend to group individuals based on these factors. They group them based on the size or their gender. For example, clothing manufacturing companies, they choose which gender they want to target. So they look at this demographic environment and see the people that are involved there. Of what size are we going to target? So these things, they affect the business. So the changes in the demographic environment are the things that affect the business. The changes in the demographic environment affect the business. So when children reach a certain age, their wants and needs change. They start looking for other things. We've heard about puberty. So the things that they need are different from the things that they needed to have when they were young. So these changes means that a business is also losing a customer. For example, the ones selling diapers and baby stuff. When someone grows older, they have to change what they want and need. So the wants and needs of individuals are dependent on these factors that we've talked about. They depend on the age of the person, they depend on the race. For example, Indians and black people, their needs vary. They are different. So when a marketer is targeting a particular market, he has to look at the specifics of those individuals so as to design a message that is specific for them. Does that make sense? Any questions before I go on? Okay, so if you're going to be a marketer at some point, you have to track the changes that are happening in the environment, in the people. So people are forced to change based on the things that are happening around them. For example, if there is no food, people have to change. Their priorities change. So you also have to be able to track these things if you want to target the right market. That is the demographic environment. So what the demographic environment is, it looks at the study of human populations based on their size, the race, the density, where they are located, and several other things. So you also need to understand that these things, their wants and needs change based on what defines them. So if you want to target customers, you have to find the right customers for your products. That makes sense? We can move on. Okay. So the second factor is the economic environment. The economic environment. What is the economic environment? We've talked about the demographic environment. Anyone who has an idea of what the economic environment is? Linda. Ivan. Yakosa. Do you have an idea of what the economic environment is? Lorraine? Noel?
It is like the place where business happens. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you relate it to the economic stuff? Okay, what is the economy, guys? If we say the economy of Malawi, what does it mean? I'm sure we've heard about this several times. What does the economy of Malawi mean? How can you define it? What network? The value of what? The value of what? The currency, okay. Any other thing that we think about when we talk about the economy? You were explaining something. Okay, the money that the country has. So every time we talk about the economy, we are talking about money. So there are several things that affect the business. And one of them is the economy of the market. It can be a particular market or a country. So how does the economy affect a business? Smile. Okay, so when we are talking about the economy, we are talking about money, the availability of money.
Okay, the economic environment affects the macro environment because if there is no money in the country, or if the country is poor, then there's going to be, the country is going to export more goods. It's going to import more goods. It's going to import more goods from other countries, which is not good.
Okay. Yeah, Noah.
This is when the country's GDP grows or it increases or it goes down. So the business is forced to also change prices in which maybe the customers are not okay with it. And they'll start seeing as if like things are now expensive.
Okay. That's part of how the economy affects a business. Takuja.
If the economy is not doing so well, the business will also not do well.
Okay, Nigel.
If there's no money in the country, it means it will affect the business because no one will be able to purchase whatever the business is selling.
Okay, it's not like no one. Some will still be able to purchase, but...
Yes, people will put money, but then the businesses won't do as well as compared to if the economy is doing very well.
Okay, Nigel.
Shortage of foreign currency
Shortage of foreign currency.
in order to purchase things that are used in Africa, and raw material, and also inflation can also influence manufacturing.
Okay, so there are several ways in which the economy can affect a business. So we've heard of inflation. Yes, what is inflation? Not you, Noel.
Not me.
Yeah, not you. Innocent, what is inflation?
Inflation. They're going down. Money.
Okay, Penya.
Invasion.
Inflation.
Inflation.
Inflation. Okay. Yeah, Takuzo.
This is the fluctuation of prices of goods.
Okay.
So prices can be either go very high or very low.
Okay, so the economy, like I said, the economy affects businesses in several ways, and the first is inflation. So this is a situation where the prices of goods go up. And the reason why prices of goods go up is because there is more money rotating in the economy. So the government is trying to reduce the amount of money that's rotating in the economy. So they push the prices of products up. Then they get expensive. When there is no money in the economy, the prices of products go down because people have to buy. So when there is inflation, when people don't have money, it means you'll be forced to push the prices of your products down. So people can purchase and you can reorder. And that process can cause losses. So like I said, this is something that a business person or a marketer cannot control. These are outside factors that are affecting the business. So they can either affect it positively or negatively. And another way in which businesses are affected economically is through their levels of unemployment. After inflation, there is levels of unemployment. And there is also the income of customers. The interest rates and the cost of living. So the amount of money that is available in a market will affect the spending habits of consumers. So if there is no money in the environment, you will notice that most people will stop buying things. And if they do eventually buy, they will only buy things that are important than other things. So before you start a business in any market, you have to look at these factors. Is the economic situation of the country or market good for my business? Do people have money? How many people are employed? So if you see there are less people employed in the market, you will notice that most people will not buy because they don't have the money to buy. And when you're targeting customers, you should also look at how much they earn per month. and if they are willing to pay what you are charging for your product. So that is the economic environment. We've seen how businesses have been affected economically here. So things are not going on well because the economic stability of the country is not okay. So it affects all businesses overall, even the big businesses. Any questions on the economic environment? Okay, so these are economic factors that affect the purchasing power and spending patterns of customers. They are economic factors that affect the purchasing power and spending patterns of customers. They affect the purchasing power and spending patterns of customers. Spending patterns. Of customers. Have you guys understood the economic environment and how it affects businesses? Or should I repeat it again? Huh? Repeat. Okay, so the availability of money in a market affects a business. If there is no money in the market, people will not buy, or less people will buy the products and services. So this affects the businesses because the money coming into the business is less than usual or what you planned. So before you choose a market, before you choose your customers, you must know the economic situation of the market you're entering. And when you're choosing the customers, look at the income and also look at the exchange rates and other things that are available in the economy. Monetary things that are going to affect your business. Does that make sense? So the third is the natural environment. Natural environment. What is the natural environment? Anyone who has an idea? Gertrude. What is the natural environment? So. Naturally, okay. Things like, anyone who can give an example, yeah? Natural disasters, anything else?
Like maybe, okay, weather, maybe what you're selling is a seasonal thing, maybe blankets, and maybe it's only, we are on summer, not a lot of people will buy.
Okay. Anyone who can add on that? Mpenya. What's that?
These are the tree that you can import. You don't know the tree?
No, I don't.
The one they used to make high quality paint. Tanya. I actually had it, but then it's, you have to have license to have it. That's an everything.
Okay. Any more additions on the natural environment? What? Takuja? Yes. Any idea? Smile. What could be the natural environment in addition to what Chisomo and Noah have said? Okay, so these are natural things that affect the business. So they can either affect it positively or negatively. Natural things. So when we are talking about the natural environment, we also look at the natural resources that are needed during production. Let me just say that. We also look at the natural resources that are needed during production. Like what Mpenya said, the weird tree she talked about. That's one of the natural resources that are needed for production. So if you want to make the best furniture, you have to see the availability of suppliers for that tree, or the availability of that tree in particular. So that is about the natural environment. When you want to produce something, look at the environment you're working in and how it is affected naturally. You've given examples of floods. If you decide to establish your business where floods are usually occur, then you must also plan for the destruction of your business. You must look for an area where the environment is stable, and you also have all the inputs that are needed for your business. For example, if you're going through the business of production, you have to look at the availability of raw materials. If raw materials are not available, you have to think of another way. But if you decide to take raw materials from elsewhere, like outsourcing, you also have to look at the costs that come with bringing those raw materials to the point of production. So, unlike us looking at the things that are affecting the business, as a marketer, you must also have solutions to the problems that are happening in the natural environment. So we talked about marketing involving the creation of relationships with customers, and also the benefits that you bring to the environment. This natural environment also involves you bringing something to the environment, bringing solutions to the problems that are available in the environment. So maybe if you do have the money, you can fix a bridge somewhere, or you can choose to do something that will help the environment. So when doing this, when we are talking about the natural environment and bringing things that bring solutions or develop solutions, they came up with the idea of I think they're called green products, where they produce things that do not harm the environment. So when you are marketing your products, you need to be able to tell your customers that these products are safe. They are safe to use, they are safe to dispose. So with the development of these safe products, if you are coming up with products that are harmful to the environment, you might end up losing customers and also losing the business. So the products, the packaging, and everything that you bring to the customers must be safe for the environment. Does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, so does anyone have a question on the natural environment? Someone is whispering. Someone. Edwin. Yes, that's what that's the macro environment. Yeah. Okay, so next we are going to look at the technological environment. The technological environment. Anyone who has a suggestion on the technological environment?
Like this, so much like the natural, you have to look at the place center.
The what?
You have to look at the environment, like the natural environment. If you see that when you are exposed, you can see anything. So I think technology is looking at people. Like you advertise your products on internet because people are now using social media. Madam, don't say. Madam, serious.
Okay, anyone who has an idea on the technological environment? Yes, Penya is right. Advertise, you have to also advertise on the internet. Yeah, no. You raised your hand. I saw it. Precious.
That looks at the levels of the technological systems that are found in the
Okay. Yes, the levels of the technological systems that are found in the environment. So, who is the oldest in this class?
There's no challenge. Yes. But the smallest is Lorraine.
Okay, so someone born in 1996,
My mom.
97,
My uncle.
98,
My aunt.
99,
My cousin.
2000. Okay. So I believe you.
2005.
Lorraine was born in 2000.
98.
Okay, so when some of us were young, we were using. You remember these phones called Timamose?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so you know the Timamose, but there were other versions than. No, So from that, the technologies of those phones till now have changed. iPhone is an extended version of whatever people were supposed to have. It's too much.
It's the future.
Yes, it's the future, whatever. But what I mean, yeah.
I wanted to say something about the technology, but then let us continue.
Yeah, say it.
Thanks.
I think it is something that was always the resources that the machines need for you to make certain products in their upgradation. And upgrading, as in you always have to upgrading, which is like you have to put in a lot of money, you spend a lot.
Okay, yes, that is correct. For those in production, you have to change your machinery. because the things that were being used long time ago involved more human power, and now it is more of a computer doing something on behalf of humans. So it makes work faster and it makes things more efficient. So as you're doing business, you have to keep track of the new technological improvements. If people are now using something, you have to check what are they using now. For customers are going where life is simple. They don't want, okay, for example, there are these funny gates where there's that thing where you press, you explain who you are, what you want, and they open the gate for you. So it makes things easier for them. For some of us, we prefer the guard to run all the way to the gate and open it. So as things are changing, your business also has to change according to the technological advancements. So any business that is falling back in technology has a high chance of losing its customers. Despite the fact that customers can always be loyal, they will always go where things are easier. So that is the technological environment. You have to keep changing, you have to keep improving your equipment and the things that customers will need when they come. For example, the credit card thing, where you want to pay for your cash, for your things, and you don't have cash, you can always use your card. You don't have to walk around with huge amounts of money, you can just go with your card. So sometimes these things matter in businesses. They will always ask, can I pay using my card? If they can't, they will go where they can pay using their card because they don't want to move around with money. So every marketer should be updated about the technology. Does that make sense? So this technology affects the business positively in a way that it helps things to be done faster. Negatively, we look at relationships between individuals changing because they're dealing more with computers than other individuals. Any questions on that?
What about the technology?
You always have to. If you want to do business, you have to keep learning. If you fall back, you will lose customers.
I mean customers that you cannot produce the technology.
Okay, so the customers, if they can't afford to use technology, that's where the customer service comes in, where they can help. Any questions? Okay, so for this one, it doesn't really have a simple definition, but these are technological factors affecting the business. So just to repeat this again, that the technology is changing every day. So as it changes, every business should also change along with it. They need to be updated and they need to change their machinery if they are into production. So a business should be willing to try out the latest technologies so they can gain competitive advantage. That is the technological environment. On number 5, we have the political and social environment. The political and social environment. Anyone who has an idea of what the political environment is? Anyone? Political environment. Politics? Mpenya. How can you define the political environment and how does it affect business?
I think I just say how it affects.
Okay, how does it affect business?
It affects them in a way whereby the political parties think everybody comes with new ideas of how people should run their businesses. So when they bring in new. So it's either the political party, the government of that time affects the business positively or negatively in a way whereby they can increase rates, taxes, or reduce the taxes on businesses. Like recently, they just said to the even small businesses, like people selling mandasi, selling what you call sugar cane should be paying taxes, which is going to affect small businesses in a way whereby they find less profit and they still have to pay
Taxes. Yeah. Yeah, she's done, and yeah, that's right.
Okay, I had the same idea, but then I also wanted to include it maybe whereby we have the government maybe finding some certain maybe resources, and maybe due to that maybe they are now less, and also
You say Juju?
like now like they are less now they're stuck, and they're not few of them, there's something like that. And you know what I mean? It's just
Ah. Remember what you wanted to say.
yeah, and like we have an example of what's also happening here in Malawi. Now the government wants everyone with the business to now start paying so something like that. So it's also affecting the small businesses.
Okay. So, the political, I'm going to give the definition first before I explain. So, the political and social environment consists of laws, government agencies, and pressure groups. It consists of laws, government agencies, and pressure groups. They're the people who fight for people's rights or something, yeah. So, yeah, pressure groups that influence or limit various organizations. They influence or limit various organizations and individuals in a given society. It consists of laws, government agencies, and pressure groups that influence or limit various organizations and individuals in a given society. Okay, so Mpenya talked about the laws and regulations that exist with the coming in of a new government. So these things affect businesses. The laws, they may limit or give opportunities to businesses to grow. And as a business owner or as a marketer, you always have to be cautious of the laws that exist in the country. For example, taxation. If you have a registered business, you have to make sure that you're paying 16.5% of tax to the government. So when you fail to pay this tax, your business can be closed. And they have the right to close your business because there is a rule or law that says every business, registered business, should pay tax. So you always have to look at the changing laws and regulations. The ones that were there during the first time Tonse Alliance got in are not the same laws that are here now. But that's the only government we know. Okay, Mpenya is an MCP person, understand? She's an MCP person. So she's always going to back up Tonse Alliance. So there are laws and regulations that protect businesses from each other. So as a business owner or as a marketer, before you do anything, you must relate your actions to the laws that are there. So the first law is going to protect companies from each other. For example, who studied what? Law in secondary school, high school? Yeah, they usually have law courses. High schools. I am asking about high school. Okay, so there are things that protect the name of the business, things like patents and copyrights. So anything that a business has invented should not be invented by someone else. For example, we remember that guy, the one who died, the one from Mangoji. Yes, that one. Yes, the first song that he sang, there was a guy from South Africa that went against him because of that song. And he was forced to pay, I think, about 4 million. He didn't pay that much? No. Okay, yeah, he was supposed to pay cash because he copied something from someone else. So there are laws that exist in the market to protect businesses from such type of things. So if someone else says something, for example, if you start a new company where you're selling drinks and you take the motto for Coca-Cola, they can sue you for that. So it's protecting business from business. So before you write down anything, just check and cross-check if there's anyone who used that same thing. So there are also rules in the market that protect customers from bad products. So if there are products that are harmful to customers, the government is forced to act and shut down the business or make sure that they produce something that is healthy for the customers and also the environment. Oh yeah, or sometimes even in Sana. Yeah, things are bad. So the third reason why there are rules is to protect the interests of the society against business behaviors. So there are things that businesses do that may harm the society. So these rules and regulations make sure that the companies are following something that will help the society and not harm it. For example, bad disposal of waste. If you go to an industrial area and you find they're disposing something off badly, you can report them and they'll be shut down. So all this is done because there are laws that were put in place for such type of things. So when you are doing a business, you must look at the political and social factors that may affect your business. And when it comes to the social factors, we are now looking at the business doing the right thing. Not because they are being pushed by the laws, but because they want to do it on their own. So you must be able to do the right thing if you're a business person or a marketer. Does that make sense? Any questions? Lastly, we are going to look at the cultural environment. The cultural environment. Anyone who has an idea? Lorraine, what is the cultural environment? I haven't heard your voice. Who else? He's saying something. Okay, fine. For the sake of your friends, what is the cultural environment? But you say something. Your voice is okay. Linda. Okay, Ivy. Don't tell me you don't have an idea. Say something. Mona, I haven't heard from you. And Judith.
I think these are beliefs of the people surrounding the like money, town, and both business and business money, and being independent with my country.
Okay, Judith. Okay. So the cultural environment. The cultural environment consists of institutions and other forces. Other forces that affect a society's basic values. That affect a society's basic values, perceptions. That affect a society's basic values, perceptions, preferences, and behaviors. Again? Okay. So it consists of institutions and forces that affect a society's basic values, perceptions, preferences, and behaviors. So, the people that grow up in a particular society have different beliefs than other individuals. Like Chisoma, they say you have different beliefs than the rest of the class. How is she different?
Oh, not from the class, but then from Angola. She's from Angola, but she is poor.
Okay, so that's where core beliefs and secondary beliefs come in, because there are core beliefs that shape the whole environment. Now, secondary beliefs are now people changing from what they've been taught their whole lives.
Like that.
Oh, she says she's a Christian. I think she's been eating pork since she was young. I don't eat pork.
In the church, they go, you expect of Jews because it's
No, the issue is pork, not necessarily.
Little. Okay, so the way people were raised affects the relationships that they have and what they do when they want to purchase. For example, there are some things that other people can't buy, and there are things that others can buy. So when you're targeting your customers or your target audience, you have to know who they are and their core beliefs, what they believe in. So you have to know that if I say this to them, will it affect them negatively and also ruin their business? For example, you know how Indians use white as a symbol of funeral, and we use black. So when you're designing a message, you must also look at the languages that people are using. You look at the colors and their symbols in that environment. Look at their culture and how it affects the way they buy. Culture and religion, it can. Because religion also goes a highway. Like how I can't eat pork because I'm Seventh-day Adventist. Or because it's a choice.
what?
I said religion also goes a long way in shaping the behaviors of individuals. Okay, so there are core beliefs in an environment. So these are passed on from parents to the children. And then there are secondary beliefs where they change. Now it's hard for a marketer to change the core beliefs, but it's easier for them to change the secondary beliefs. So this culture also determines how people view themselves. They can view themselves as too holy or something else, too holy for something. Or we can't do that because I am something else. So you have to keep in mind the culture of the individuals you're dealing with so as not to offend them. So if you also operate in a particular environment, their culture is also important. You have to respect their culture. Any questions? Any comments? Okay. So that is all for today.